Defeatedly by Charles Michael. Ring! The school bell rings like a fire alarm at precisely 3:40 p.m., and all the excited students flock to their designated buses and parents' vehicles to be transported to a place they call home. Except for Leo and Grant. "Meet me behind the library at 4 o'clock. Be there or be square," said Grant repeatedly, as Leo internally replays what Grant said, out of anxiety for what would come. Leo Michaels is a 15-year-old shaggy-looking teenage boy who uses class time to fall asleep. He never gets any work done, and of course receives failing grades in 6 out of his 7 classes. He's chubby, but not so fat one would think he was a walking tub of lard. He never shaved, and it always looked like he was wearing a 5 o'clock mustache. On the other hand, Grant Dempsey is 19, tall and buff, when he isn't busy working out at the gym, being a varsity quarterback, or flirting with the cheerleaders. He can be somewhat of a juvenile delinquent. He's been held back 3 times, and even though he was still a freshman, he sure dominates the football field. Go Cougars! So there Leo stands, behind the library. He leans against the limestone walls and begins to take some deep breaths. He knows this won't be easy. He had taken many beatings from Grant before, but he had never once tried to defend himself against his attacks. He stares at his broken watch and mutters to himself, 3:59, and starts to sweat profusely. Leo tries hard to hide it, because the most dog-like trait about Grant is his impeccable ability to sniff fear. When Grant appears with his gang of 5 cronies at 4 p.m. on the dot, Leo quickly wipes the sweat off his forehead and stares at Grant menacingly. Grant, being an entire foot taller than Leo, makes Leo look ridiculous trying to intimidate someone whose presence itself is intimidating. Leo practiced a little speech too, which didn't help any and just makes him look more ridiculous. "You know, if I was you, I'd suggest you stop being taller than me, Grant." "What's it to you, Leo? You want me to read your horoscope? 'Cause it said you'd receive a bountiful whooping today." Grant yells into Leo's face as it gives Leo a spit shower. Leo gets up in Grant's grill as he screams, "Well, you know what? I already ate dinner, so I think it's time for dessert. You want to become whipped cream, stud?" A crowd starts to form around the boys. Several phone cameras are pointed at them. Grant takes a step back and says calmly, "Okay, I'm just gonna beat you now." Grant takes the first punch, instantly blackening Leo's left eye. Leo swings back hard and misses, and as Grant grabs Leo's arm, he twists it backwards so hard Leo screams like a banshee. Leo's screams of pain turn into an angry battle cry. Leo kicks Grant in the shin, which barely hurts. Grant aggressively shoves Leo into the pavement until his nose starts bleeding, and before Leo could get back up, Grant flips him over like a patty in the burger joint and harshly kicks him in the blackout. Grant had won the battle, but would he win the war? After about an hour, Leo awakens to see a girl. He could barely make out what she was saying. "Are you okay? Hello? Are you dead?" This girl is Sarah Johnson, a 16-year-old cheerleader who just happened to walk by Leo's unconscious body laying on the ground. Sarah is a preppy Catholic girl who loves animals and top 40 pop music. She wears scrunchies on her wrists, sweaters over tank tops, and she always has her ponytail in an angle because she isn't like the other girls. Her family is incredibly wealthy because her grandfather founded S.C. Johnson. SC also happened to be Sarah's first and middle initials. Leo tries to get back up and dust himself off, but he can't. Sarah holds out her hand and Leo grabs it and pulls himself back up to a standing position. He dusts himself off and casually says, "Thanks," as if nothing had happened. Sarah stares at Leo in awe and shock. "Whoa, you took quite a beating, didn't you?" "Well, at least I could say I defended myself this time," Leo says with a cough. Sarah smiles at Leo and politely asks, "Do you need an ice pack? I can get you an ice pack from the nurse." Leo smiles back at Sarah. "No thanks, I can take care of it." "Okay, by the way, my name's Sarah and I'm a Virgo." Leo. You're a Leo? Cool. No, my name's Leo. I'm a Scorpio. Sarah giggles. That's even better. Leo chuckles. Yep. How ironic. Sarah manages to maintain a smile. Alright, well, I just left cheerleading practice and I need someone to take me home. Do you drive? Leo's smile slowly turns into a neutral expression. No, I walk. My trailer park home is like 2 blocks away. Sarah frowns and sympathetically says, Oh, you live in a trailer? You poor thing. Leo shrugs and replies, Yeah, it's nothing. I go home with bruises and scrapes all the time. It's nothing. Sarah's frown quickly turns itself upside down as she says, Okay, well, it was nice to meet you, Leo. I'm gonna call an Uber now. Bye. Bye, Sarah, Leo says pathetically as he weakly walks his way through the woods to his weary, wobbly trailer park home. When he arrives, throws his keys on the nightstand where he always throws his keys after getting home, and slumps on the couch in front of the television, he could only think about how beautiful he thought Sarah was. He thinks to himself, Sarah's so nice and rich. She wouldn't be into a dirty old bum like me, would she? Leo approaches his mom, who is perpetually cooking dinner, and sits on the counter and starts to say, Mom? His mother's 46, and her voice is crackly due to the effects of chain smoking. She's a housewife and happily never questioned it. She cut him off with, Are you failing any classes? She didn't bat an eye at Leo, even when he'd just gotten out of a physical altercation and returned home later than usual. She was too busy staring at the carrots that she was chopping with an unusually and quite comically large meat cleaver. Leo shrugs and nonchalantly replies, I'm failing 6 of my classes, Mom. She stops chopping carrots and stares at Leo. She didn't care that he has a black eye and a nose dripping with blood. She raises her voice at Leo and quickly gives him the usual 10-minute long lecture that happens when she asks this question and he answers truthfully. When she was finished, she sighed and asked, Now what was it you wanted to tell me? Leo tuned his mother out at this point. He mutters, Nothing, Mom. I just wanted to hear that lecture again. He apathetically walks to his messy bedroom and defeatedly falls into his bed. After a couple minutes of thinking about everything that just happened, he goes to his phone and checks out his YouTube feed. Lo and behold, the number 4 video on the trending section was a video of the same fight that Leo took part in. Leo's face goes so red one would mistake him for a walking tomato. The next day, Leo stands in front of his bus stop and waits for his school bus. When the bus arrives and Leo steps on, he sits in his usual seat all the way in the back. Sarah steps in after him and decides to forego her usual seat and sits with Leo. Hi, Leo, Sarah says cheerfully. Hi, Sarah. Leo stutters and starts to sweat. Isn't it cool that we both ride the same bus? Sarah asks with a huge smile on her face. Yeah, what a coincidence, Leo says as he chuckles nervously, but still manages to make an awkward smile. Leo couldn't bring himself to express his love for Sarah on the bus, not while around 30 students were watching him. He keeps silent for the remainder of the ride. Leo couldn't walk around the campus without getting instantly recognized as the epic groin kick guy. Everywhere he went, his fellow classmates and peers tease him and give him more of a hard time than he deserves. Even the teachers would take it lightly. So when lunchtime rolls around, Leo couldn't even eat. He actually felt sick. He sits on a rock in the courtyard where he thought nobody could see him, but Sarah takes a seat right next to Leo on the rock. Hi, Leo, Sarah says in the same manner as she did on the bus. Why are you following me? Leo blankly asks as he stares into the gravel on the ground. I don't know. You look kind of lonely and I thought maybe I'd come over and have a nice conversation. Leo looks somewhat hopefully at Sarah and says, Well, there has been something that's been bothering me lately. Sarah instantly assumes it was the fight. Oh, was it the fight? You know, I haven't seen the video on YouTube yet, but it's getting shared literally everywhere. Like, I can't go 5 minutes on my Twitter feed without seeing it reposted 1,000,000 times. Isn't that crazy? Sarah chuckles. Yeah, that's... Leo sighs. He couldn't even begin to speak his mind at this point, but he forces himself to. Sarah, I like you. I like you a lot. Aw, I like you too. Sarah smiles hugely as she usually does. No, it's not just that, Sarah. I really like you. Leo keeps forcing the words to come out. Sarah just laughs and replies, That's okay. A lot of boys like me. I don't even mind it anymore. I just tell him I have a boyfriend and walk away. Leo's heart sinks to the bottom of his stomach. You have a boyfriend? Sarah casually responds, Yeah, Grant Dempsey, captain of the football team. I was cheerleading when I met him, and ever since then he's been my honey boo-boo. Leo's stomach started jumping. His heart started beating faster than usual. Grant? You're in love with Grant? Sarah's smile turns quickly into a neutral expression as she asks, What's wrong with him? Leo couldn't even force himself to go on anymore. What if I told you that Grant was at the other end of the fight? Sarah stares at Leo with a concerning expression. What do you mean? My honey boo-boo would never beat up another kid like that. Incidentally, Grant just happens to walk by them as they carry this conversation. Grant swoops in and decides to dominate the rock that Leo claimed first. What's wrong, sugar mama? This emo loser bothering you? Sarah looks at Leo weirdly and replies, Yeah, let's get out of here. Leo gets angry at Grant and stands up and starts yelling, You beat me up! You kicked me in the groin and handed me the title of the epic groin kick guy! Grant ignores him for the most part and says to Sarah, I don't know what he's going on about. Leo sits back down on his rock and slaps himself on the forehead. Idiot! He yells to himself. Leo couldn't just let Sarah walk away like that, especially with the man who beat him up less than 24 hours ago. Leo pulls out his phone and runs after Sarah and Grant, while quickly looking for the footage of the fight on YouTube. Leo catches Sarah and Grant and shoves his phone in Sarah's face. Look! He screams. Sarah stares at the video in shock. She had never thought Grant would do this to anyone. But then again, there is a lot about Grant that Sarah doesn't know. Sarah stares at Grant and slaps him across the face. You monster! She runs off. Grant is angry and upset now, and he picks Leo up by his shirt collar and yells into his face, Thanks a lot, dorkhead! Now you made me lose my girl! Grant dropped Leo and walked off. At least Leo could feel proud that Sarah now sees Grant for the monster he is and dumped him. But he still thinks he would never have a chance with her. Leo waits for the bus ride to return home. He enters the bus and sees Sarah sitting in the back by herself. Leo sat next to Sarah, and Leo is unusually happy to see her. Hi, Sarah, Leo says with a smile. Oh, hi, Leo, Sarah says as she mopes. Listen, Sarah, I'm sorry about Grant. I just wanted to... Sarah interrupts him and starts ranting angrily. You just wanted to what? You just wanted to get rid of my honey boo-boo so you can try and date me? Do you know how shallow that is? Leo stares at her with a concerned expression and says, Sarah, that's not what I... Shut up! Even if I didn't care about Grant, and even if Grant never happened, I don't see myself dating an emo boy who never takes a shower, who smells like a pig, who lives in a trailer park, and who falls asleep and fails all his classes. The bus arrives to Leo's stop. Leo stands up and says to Sarah, I'm sorry, and walks defeatedly to his house. He arrives, opens the door, throws his keys on the nightstand where he always throws his keys after getting home, and slumps on the couch in front of the television.